I thank my honourable friend, who is always generous in his thoughts and his considerations, contributions to a debate like this. I agree entirely. And it takes me to my fundamental point, which is this may be called a debate on the Red Sea, but really we are talking about Iran. When it comes to Iran, my assessment, and colleagues may differ, is that Iran is willing to do everything but reach outright warfare. They will industrialise sub-threshold conflict and they will seek chaos wherever they are. But my worry is that their current appetite, where they have set their threshold as being just below outright warfare, is too high. And I think the message that needs to go out from our allies to the Iranians, and I was very pleased to see the Foreign Secretary meeting with the Iranians to deliver this message himself, but we need to hear it from our partners, is that your threshold is too high, Iran. You must pull back. That needs to be our strategic priority, and I hope that the government will be bringing people together. I myself am looking at perhaps drawing together a half-day workshop for any MP in the House to come together to look at how we together believe the policy solutions might be to tackle Iran, because all roads lead to Iran. And my worry when it comes to Iran is that we are compartmentalising our response to them. They have nuclear ambitions, they have proxies, they have given Russia the drones that they need, and I believe the relationship between Iran and Russia has now become a strategic one, and it has fully reversed from what we saw over the last 2 decades. We are seeing hostage-taking, assassinations, transnational repression and femicide at home. We have to stop treating those individual issues as if they can somehow be drawn away from each other and recognise we need a strategic approach working with our allies to do all of them. Because at the moment, we see individual escalations in each of those areas and we don't respond comprehensively. So we see Iran massively increase their drone production and giving them all to Russia, but we don't see a significant response. We see Iran taking more and more hostages, but we don't see a significant response. Because in isolation, all these things look like a small gradual ratcheting, but when you put them together, the situation is utterly untenable. I will hesitate to talk too much about IRGC prescription because I feel like I may steal other colleagues' sandwiches, so I will leave that with them. But I think the record is well known on this House as to the position, and I will acknowledge it is not a straightforward decision. Yes, Iran will see this as an act of war. Yes, we will likely have to close our embassy on the ground. However, we need to take action against the IRGC. Only this week we saw a BBC video where generals of the IRGC who were sanctioned were holding recruitment Zooms with British national students' organisations. This is the same organisation that MI5 had to go out and warn was conducting assassinations on our soil. And while I'm here, I will also repeat my call for the creation of a special envoy or a special Prime Minister lead for those who are arbitrarily detained, because we do need someone who can focus on this throughout the piece. I briefly want to touch on Iran at home, because I do believe we are dealing with the most brittle Iran that we have for a long time. The way Iran rules is essentially a protection racket, and people have started to see through that. They are splintering, but I think it's too early to see the actors for change who will actually escalate the situation. Looking then briefly to the diplomatic effort, there has been too much of a focus on the E3 plus the US. We need an Arab-led solution. We need to bring our Arab partners into the fold far more on this. There is an anxiety that the West is not a long-term strategic partner and that we will conduct this isolated activity that is absolutely right, but then not stay and be committed long-term. So how do we demonstrate commitment to build a broader coalition that can meaningfully push back against Iranian influence in the region to protect us not just there, but also at home? That leads me then to the threat to the UK from Iran, and I am gravely concerned that we are not yet taking this seriously enough. Yes, we have now seen the Islamic Centre closed under a review from the Charity Commission. Yes, I managed to get their education centre in the west of London to no longer be accredited, but we are not doing enough to tackle transnational repression in the UK. Mr Deputy Speaker, these strikes are both legal and proportionate and a response to hugely damaging attacks by Houthi rebels on the rule of law and global commerce. A failure to act would result in global economic hardship, huge damage to the British economy, a resurgence in inflation and the risk of a successful Houthi attack on a Royal Navy or British maritime vessel. This is about re-establishing deterrence, but it is also about sending a message to Taiwan and to the PRC. If we think what we have seen over the last few weeks is concerning in terms of global trade, this is absolutely nothing compared to what we would see.